So I shared why I meditate last week. Today I'm just going to expand on it a little bit more and share why I meditate daily and the significance of doing it daily. Well, I actually have a self-care practice that I do every single day. And there are three things that I always try to make sure are done. And that is meditate, gratitude, and affirmations. I found by doing these three things every single day, I've been able to lean on these things in my daily life. And it really came out strong last week when I had to go for the COVID test because I was really tested. So I had to go because my son had a fever, and the only way to send my kids back was to do the tests and confirm they're negative, right? Otherwise, I have to keep them at home for 2 weeks. And I have 2 kids, which meant both kids had to stay home for 2 weeks. No, that's not happening. So they're going back. So I had to go do the test, and 5-hour wait. So I was actually in line at the 4-hour mark. I did my 4 hours, and I was like going inside and giving the girl my health card, and then they pulled me out and they said, no, you're it's wrong. You're not supposed to go. I was like, what? Anyways, long story short, I find out that they made a mistake and that there's all these people over that were pulled over to the side. They somehow got forgotten, and they were letting them in now in front of me. So I was like, wait a minute, because of your mistake, I have to wait another 45 minutes and let these people go in front of me, and I was starting to get I was like ready to actually blow my top at this point, because it was 4 hours in. I'd finished all my snacks. I had no more juice left in the tablet, or like 10% left battery on my phone. I had no more water. I really had to go to the washroom. And I'm like, I was just in there. You literally pulled me out. And I'm just like, because of somebody's mistake, now I have to wait another hour. So I was at that point where I was just ready to blow my top. I was so angry, but my mindful gap kicked in, right? I've mentioned the mindful gap where you have this moment of awareness, and it kicked in. And I'm so grateful that it kicked in, because I was able to take a moment and be like, okay, I'm angry right now. And I probably have every right to be very angry right now. But I don't have to be this anger. I don't have to act it out. And it was like, yes, that's right. I don't have to be my anger. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to, to acknowledge it. But I have a choice on whether I actually want to act it out. And then the other thing that came to me was my affirmations, right? I was like, I have 5 that I repeat every day. And one of them is be a role model and they will follow. And that's specifically geared at my children. It's a reminder to me that it's not what I say that's important, it's what I do. My kids are watching and copying what I do. So that came into play. So it was like, okay, mindful moment, you don't have to be your emotions. My affirmation came in, your son's watching you. What are you going to display to him right now in this moment? What are you going to role model for him? And it was like, I don't want to role model this angry woman. I don't want to role model this crazy woman that could possibly get herself kicked out of line, because I have that fire in me. And if I had just went into my anger, I probably would have offended somebody and got myself kicked out of line. Like that's my fire getting out of control. So being aware of all of that in that moment from that mindful gap, and just like, okay, you know what? I choose not to go into the anger. But I still had to shift, right? I still had to try and shift out of that space, because there was that part of me that knows, okay, doesn't make any sense to bitch right now, but I want to. So, and this is where my gratitude practice really helps me. I went into my just like me chant, right? And just like me, everybody around me has been here for 4 to 5 hours. Just like me, they're tired. They want to go home too. Just like me, they probably have to go to the washroom and they can't. you know? And then I actually looked a little bit deeper and I'm like, you know what? That mom's not just like me. She's actually worse off. She's got 2 kids and they're probably under the age of 4 from what I can see. At least my kid is 6 years old and can speak and can voice his concerns. You know, like when they're a little bit younger, it's just harder to deal with. And she's been in line for 4 hours. Oh my gosh, I feel her pain. Actually, her pain is worse than mine, you know? And then I looked at another mom and I looked at her child, and her child was just bawling her eyes out. And I looked at the mom and she was just exasperated, right? And I know, and I get it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, you got to leave the line because your child's not handling, but you can't because you waited your 4 hours and you're not going to lose your spot in line now. You know, you're just going to tough it out. So just by looking around and connecting and seeing that everybody around me was just like me in that same situation, it lessened the pain. It just took the anger down a notch, you know? And then so just being able to drop into the breath, have that moment of mindfulness, you know, be becoming aware that my son is watching me, and then shifting and recognizing that everybody was all in the same place. I was like, you know what? The best thing I can do right now is just try and get through this next hour as painless as possible. You know, try and make it fun for my son instead of miserable, so that we walk out of here at least not in tears, right? Like that other mom with her kid. And so I pulled out everything that I knew. We played I Spy. We looked at the clouds and created shapes and stuff. We did patty cake. We made up a secret handshake. I did everything I could think of. We got through the line. And then when we got back to the car, you know what my son said to me? He said, you know, Mommy, it wasn't that bad. You actually made it kind of fun. And for me, I was like, you know what? I did good that day. I did really good, because I could have, for my son to say, to turn that situation, a 5-hour wait in line, and for him to say, that was kind of fun, Mommy. I take that as a win, definitely. And I think my daily practice, my daily self-care practice for how that day turned out, because I've been training myself to be in gratitude, right? To always try and see the better things, the positive things. And also my affirmations are reminders of how I want to be, how I want to show up, right? All these things, because I do them daily, when I needed it, they were there for me. So that is my philosophy, and that is what I hope to teach and share to other people, is to create a self-care practice, create a practice that supports you, because eventually what happens is it turns into a habit, and eventually you can use this as a healthy habit to support you. It's October 1st. It's a good time to set goals before the end of the year. So the question I'm going to put out to everybody here is, what can you do right now that your future self on December 31st, 2020 will thank you for? What can you do right now or put into action so that yourself, your future self on December 31st, 2020 will thank you for? Let me know what comes up for you.